Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nagendra Prasad. I am a distinguished strength and conditioning specialist. I've been working with the cricketers from the last 15 years. I worked with the National Cricket Academy for 4 years, and now I'm in one of the IPL teams. My topic for today would be getting cricketers game ready. Actually, I had to put cricketers because I've been working with cricketers, but this applies to every single athlete in every single sport. So you can actually take it as getting athletes game ready. Okay? I'd like to thank Apurva to give me this chance to present here. And I was wondering what presentation can I make at this level. Then I said there are a lot of methodologies, there are a lot of training methodologies, there is strength, there's power, there's agility, speed. I was always thinking when I did my research, when, as many people said, before my experiences in the National Cricket Academy, worked with physiotherapists and things like that, where is this whole thing coming from? You know, where is this whole thing of movement? Where is this whole thing of biomechanics? Where is this holding the position in an athletic position? Where is this coming from? Then I just, was researching, and I was a pretty decent athlete. I'm a badminton player. So I was always thinking there has to be something, at the base level in the performance pyramid, where, on the top is your peak performance. So there has to be something at the base which is giving rise to all these other parameters. So I fortunately came across one of the principles I'm going to deal with today. So purpose and goals of the session would be understanding the kinetic chain principle, explore how interconnected joints and segments impact movement, and comprehensive athletic preparation to maximize performance through coordinated muscle activation, prevent injuries by emphasizing stability and function integration. So that's the purpose and goals of the session. How many people have you heard of this kinetic chain principle? So anybody could tell me in their own words, volunteer, what do you understand by this principle? Anybody? Fantastic, fantastic. Anything else? Okay. Fantastic. So, in a nutshell, I would like to give my understanding of this principle is the human body is segmentally integrated. The human body is segmentally integrated from the bottom up with mobile and stable joints stacked upon each other, through which highly synchronized and coordinated sport specific movement happen. If it is not synchronized and coordinated, those movements are, as Radha madam said, compensatory movements. These compensatory movements over a period of time, what do they lead to? Chronic injuries. And it also states that you're as strong as the weakest link in the kinetic chain. Okay? So that's the principle. Anybody has any doubt? So let's dwell into the mobility and stability joints. If you see from the foot, everybody, even Ian, Radha, everybody was talking about stability. Foot stability, ankle mobility, knee stability, okay, hip joint mobility. We do a lot of mobility at the hip for in our warm-ups. Lumbar stability, thoracic spine mobility, and shoulder scapula stability. So what does this give us? So this gives us a picture saying that this is a joint by joint approach, is a fundamental concept in movement science, how the body moves. That we'll come to it later. I stole that from one Mr. Michael Boyle, was a very leading strength and conditioning specialist from the US. It recognizes that different joints have varying mobility and stability requirements. All the joints have mobility and stability as their function, but in the kinetic chain principle perspective, we assume that there is one more dominating than the other. Okay? So understanding this approach helps optimize movement patterns and prevent injuries. Okay? So let's look at the joint bottom up. Yeah. Now if you take, in my very first slide, I've put these top 3 sports skills movement as to explain the kinetic chain principle. If you can see the tennis serve, the fast bowler and the pitcher, okay? Somebody is looking very synchronized and coordinated, correct? Somebody is looking very, Ian was trying to say that most of you were not synchronized and coordinated in the beginning. What is the reason behind that? What is the reason behind somebody not being synchronized and coordinated? There are reasons with predisposition of, knock knee, there's predisposition of muscles being weak, strength that is, there is predisposition of mobility not be there at the right place, there is no stability. So that is where, the problem starts. That is where it is non-synchronous and there are compensatory movements happening. So somebody is very synchronized and coordinated. Give me a tennis example. Can somebody give me a tennis serve who's one of the best or one of the most efficiently and most economical? Anybody? Yeah. What's Federer doing than most of the people are not doing? What do you think? Now let's take the joint by joint approach. Yes, 100%. Okay. Anything else? You understand what I'm trying to say? Why is somebody so coordinated than the other person? Come on, I want it to be an interactive session. I'm not going to give you names of muscles and it's completely interactive. Okay. So can you see all these 3 movements? Okay. Movement mechanics starts from the bottom up. You produce force bottom up in any sport. Okay. Can you see these 3 actions? It's all coming from the bottom up. And what did I say? The human body is segmentally integrated bottom up through the foot, okay, mobile and stable joints, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lumbar spine, thoracic spine and the shoulder. Okay. So if somebody is synchronized and coordinated, that means there is perfect synchronization and the force that is produced bottom up, okay, is articulated in the object of the sport. In fast bowler, it's the ball. It's in tennis, again the racket hitting the ball, and this one is the ball going outside of his hand. Okay. So if there are weak links, as Radha was saying, what are the weak links? What could be the weak links? You're as strong as your weakest link is what I mentioned. Why would the weak links arise? No, why would a weak link arise? Yeah, as Radha mentioned, there is compensatory movements happening. Why are those compensatory movements happening? The compensatory movements are happening because where there has to be mobility, if that joint is not showing up its good mobility, the joint above or below is getting affected. Correct? So that therefore that whole synchronization coordination is not happening. Okay? For example, if you take an action of a fast bowler, it's there like that. Okay? So what am I doing there? How efficiently the body is working? Where can you get that, from the synchronization coordination? Tell me. So the foot is ground up. So the foot is producing force ground up, and the force is transferred through the entire chain, okay? And there is mobility and stability at each joint where it's supposed to be, like I told you about joint by joint approach, and then it is articulated in the hand into the thing. So, what are compensatory movements? I told you, if the action, the sport specific action is not synchronized and coordinated, there are movements happening. Everybody is running, as Radha says, everybody is bowling. Okay? What are compensatory movements? Compensatory movements is nothing but movements are away, which is away from the normal. Those movements may be compensated because of predisposition of knock knees, biomechanical predisposition, or even the skills levels. Okay? So therefore, one joint, as I mentioned, does not have mobility like the hip joint. So therefore, the joint above and below are taking the slack of the hip joint not being mobile. Okay? That is compensatory movement. So as I mentioned, you're as strong as your weakest link. What do you mean by that? What are the links in a movement? If you take this movement, can you see the links that is propelling from the bottom up into the object? What are the links? What are we all training these days? Huh? Okay. Anything else? Okay, we are training the core. Anything else? Glutes. What is this? Scapula. So these can be your weak links. Okay? And what happens if the force produced bottom up and these weak links are not helping you articulate that force into the ball or the racket? The force produced bottom up is dissipating as heat at these particular joints. Therefore, you're not as efficient as you can be. So somebody's service like a Roger Federer is so smooth, and so that exact movement and coordination, and he's getting into the thing. He has very little weak links. Okay, and he has mobility where he has to have mobility. He has stability where he has to have stability. That's why he looked so synchronized and coordinated. You're getting what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So, can I have 2 volunteers? Anybody? Anybody? Can I have a lady, please? Okay. Please. Okay, what we do as an assessment, okay, and evaluation, we do something called fundamental movement skills testing. Okay? Fundamental movement skills testing from the perspective of an overhead squat, overhead lunges, and hip hinging movement. Okay? Now let's see if both of these people have the same ability to move. Okay? And let's see why the reason that they are not able to move in a particular movement. Okay? So can you give me an example, an overhead squat like that, all the way down? No, yeah, side view, yeah. Good. Give me 5 of that, slowly. Yeah, you can face forward and give me 5 of that. Guys, just observe so that I can ask you some questions if you don't mind. Ma'am, can you do that? Okay, forwards. Yeah. Guys, any Anything that you noticed in either of squats? Anybody? Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Guys, loudly, so everybody is. How do you know it's hip flexor tightness? Okay. So how do you know it's not ankle mobility? Yeah, please. Yeah. Butt winking is what we call. Anything else, man? Okay. Anything else, guys? Yeah? Okay. Absolutely. We do the DF lunge test. So now, why I say that is, this is the king of movement assessments thing is because it gives an entire body picture. You know, the shoulder flexion, okay, the hip flexion, you know, the ankle mobility, and your scapular stability. That's why I love the overhead squat as a fundamental assessment. Okay? So, now as he mentioned, he says there is, we can do other movement tests like overhead lunges, see as if the pelvis there is any shift, okay, and we can also work on your mobility tests like your straight leg, lying straight leg, okay. You also work on a stability test on a single leg standing. So all these, what do you say, tests, you get the scores. There's a physiotherapist doing a musculoskeletal screening. You understand that? Anybody? Musculoskeletal screening. He or she is still assessing. What do you think that we assess in these movement skills and MSK? Mobility and stability and neuromuscular control is what we address. Correct? So now, anybody, any two more, please? Come on. Yeah, please. Thank you very much. Yeah. Can you give me nice overhead lunges from there? Overhead lunges. Okay? Wait, you go. Yeah, please. Guys, on the scale of 10, how would you rate both of them in movement? No, now I don't want you to go into too much of ankle mobility, this, that. On a layman's way, how do you assess these two people on a scale of 0, which is being pathetic, on a scale of 10, which is number 1? How much do you give them? Guys, this is completely an interactive session. So please, if you don't answer wrong, you won't learn. So don't be afraid and hide behind like the last benchers. Please talk. I want interaction here. I am not clouding you with too much of information. I am not clouding you with too much muscle, anatomy, this and that. I am giving you something which is very straight away applicable in your daily routine, that as a strength and conditioning specialist, even as a physiotherapist. So please interact with me. So how much would you give him? Guys, come on. Okay. Can 3 people stand up in your place, please? 3 people. Now you tell me, why are you giving 8.5 to them? Oh, you give them 10. Oh, fantastic. Why? Okay. Why do you think they are stable and controlled? Okay. Badhiya. Okay. Yes? Okay. So what do you think the reason would be that they're looking good in this movement? I just told you about that previously. Okay. That's the postural thing. Okay. Okay. That is, you're talking about the upper body. What about the lower body? You think it's because the stride position is consistent, that's why the stability is maintained? Fantastic. I'll give you 10 on 10. Next. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. So now guys, you see, you understand, you know. So what do we do basically in a team environment is we do our fundamental, our methodology is driven by this fundamental principle of kinetic chain that states that, I told you in the beginning, it's about joints bottom up, force produced from joints bottom up is articulated in your object or sport or whichever it is. Okay? So we assess, we coordinate with the physiotherapist. I, as a strength and conditioning specialist, assess the fundamental movement skills, the stability and the mobility and the neuromuscular control issues. Okay? We amalgamate the two results. Then, all of you have heard of this. It's an in thing now. What is that? No. That is, all of you know about what is foam rolling. What is the heading? Okay, no, not that, boss. The second one. You're not in third standard. What is that? What am I correcting? Okay, good. Why do I need to correct? And why do I need to correct? Why do I say that movement skills and movement assessment is at the rock bottom in a performance pyramid? Okay. One minute. Okay, very good. Not avoid weak link. Yes, not avoid weak link. You need to find out which is the weak link. Okay? So when you amalgamate the two results, the physiotherapists also are doing a lot of tests which is in sync with our tests. We amalgamate the two, and then, as you said, it is because of the hip mobility that, is putting his hands forward. How do you know it's just hip mobility? So what happens? The physiotherapist does a test called dorsiflexion lunge test. Anybody heard of that? Okay. Okay. The physiotherapist does something called Thomas test. Know that? Now, if I'm going to give you my score as a strength and conditioning specialist for the overhead squat, in whatever I can see, just because I'm watching the way he's performing and he has a particular pathway of movement, I don't know which muscle is actually the culprit. Correct? Then the physiotherapist is going to help me. I can get a lot of information from the physiotherapist with the DF lunge test. What is DF lunge test showing me? Very good. What is Thomas test showing me? Okay. 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 Very good. So we on a constant basis, We assess every single person. This is not fitness assessment. This is clinical assessment which the physiotherapy does. We do the movement screening assessment. I told you we amalgamate the two. What we do is we suggest and program your corrective exercises as a warm-up. So that you constantly, it won't correct because it's a lot of neuromuscular control. You won't correct, and somebody is still bowling at 150 kilometers per hour. He has a lot of shortcomings from the perspective of movement, from the perspective of mobility, stability. It can't be changed because it's a particular tournament. You have only 2 months with them. So what best that we can do, I will still compromise on your strength levels, because if you're bowling 150 kilometers per hour, you're already strong, okay? You are already bowling there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep you, keep you biomechanically efficient. How can I keep you biomechanically efficient? By keeping the kinetic chain in sync so that you don't get Boss, be loud. That's exactly what I want to hear. Okay? So that's what we do in a rigorous tournament like an IPL, okay? Or anywhere for that matter. So if you take this whole thing, it is not, I told you, I was forced to myself that I should say, getting cricketers game ready. Because I have worked with all other athletes, but now that I've been in this field for the last 15 years, I was forced to say, getting cricketers game ready, but I would say getting athletes game ready. So this particular whole, protocols is followed on a regular basis. So what we do in the corrective strategies is, why do we foam roll? Why myofascial release? Don't worry, ma'am. Don't be afraid whether it's right or wrong. I want some interaction. Okay. Then why do we need static stretching? Because there are a lot of tight muscles there. Okay. Tight muscles or weak muscles or unstable joints. What do they lead to? Exactly. And we do dynamic movement preparation after everything. That is a given, everybody knows that. So what we as strength and conditioning specialists do in these kind of vigorous tournament is, that's what I do actually. That's what my role in my IPL team is, to keep them mobile and stable, efficient in their kinetic chain links, okay, so that they don't go to the physiotherapists as much as possible, okay, as much as possible from, unless it is an on-field injury or unless it is a freak injury. The physiotherapist will be very happy with a guy like me because I won't send them. I won't send the athletes to them. It is very different in if she's running a clinic or he's running a clinic. They'll curse me. Correct? Okay? So that is what I wanted to present, and this is the fundamental concept which gives rise to this joint by joint approach and the synchronization, the movement that happens in sync. Okay, the force produced bottom up is transferred up into the object or the whichever thing in that particular sport. Okay? So that is what I wanted to put across. No muscle name, no this, no that, so that you can start. Everybody does this. How many of you do all of this? Now tell me honestly, keep your hands down. How many of you did this because you know what I said today? Up. Okay? Fantastic. So now, we have all these people, what I'm giving you, you've learned something. Go research. See, I can do only this much in this particular time. Go research of what I'm trying to say. Okay? It's not rocket science. It's available all over the net. Okay? See, understand that principle. Understand the principle. It will take some time for you to understand what is stability. Anybody? Stability. Balance and coordination. So what is balance and coordination? The technical name? So if I am standing like this, yeah, what is that technical word? Yeah. Proprioception, neuromuscular, motor unit, recruitment of motor unit. Correct? So please get into whatever you are. You see, that's what I'm saying. No? Why I wanted to do something like this is a universal thing. Whether you're playing football, whether you're playing badminton. Now, for example, Ian made them do something. Okay, what did he do? He was throwing the ball and they were catching, somebody was catching like this. Okay, then slowly he mentioned that, you need to get into the athletic position. There were two people who had never got into athletic position. Now you understand why they were not got into the athletic position? Why? One is they have not done the movement at all. Second one is there will definitely be shortcomings in the kinetic chain, either in the form of mobility, either in the form of stability, or either in the form of muscle weakness. Correct? So that is what I want you to start inculcating in your assessments. Okay? This is what I want you to inculcate in your preparation. So I feel the preparation is the fundamental thing of athletic performance. We all know about strength, speed, agility, Olympic lifting, blah, 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 blah. But where does the preparation is rock bottom. This is the base. Okay? So give importance to preparation. Preparation is just not warm up. All that is over. Where you say you increase your heart rate, you break a light sweat. That level of thing is over. Okay? Now let's get into the next level. See, that's how we progress. That's how we progress as SNCs. I could do very well and come to the stage where I am today is only because I work with world-class physiotherapists. And those world-class physiotherapists put me to such shame that I nearly gave up this profession. Why? Because they are irritated with us that I'm getting athletes injured like left, right and center. And I'm thinking, I'm doing my best, boss, he is strong. But I never thought about this principle. I never thought about somebody being mobile is very important. Somebody being stable is very important. What is neuromuscular control? So just do your homework, give it a good shot. My information is always there. Okay? Any help, I am there. But please use this and apply it from tomorrow. Okay? In your profession, whether you see, now you understand, whoever you are training, even if he or she is a weekend warrior, or even if you are training an adult, so like a 60-year-old person, what do you need? The base necessity. Movement preparation. Preparation. It's a rock bottom. If you are not synchronized and coordinated, okay, for various reasons that I just spoke about, okay, if I keep on adding strength to that, what will happen? You will break down. Correct? So a dysfunction body, if I keep adding strength and I'm expecting you to produce power and expecting you to exhibit your skills at the best of your abilities, okay, how can I expect that? You have a major issue. So if you don't address those issues, you're not going to make a difference in their performance. See, performance everybody says, I'm a performance trainer. You cannot be a performance trainer. I cannot be a performance trainer. I can be a strength and conditioning specialist who can make a difference in your performance from the physical perspective. Correct? Because any sport is a game of skill. Correct? How many of you agree there? Everything is a game of skill. All I can do, if you're a fitter athlete, you can perform your skill at the best of your abilities. You can perform it economically. There is longevity in your sport. These are the important things. Okay? So, any questions, please? Yeah, sir. It depends upon what your goal is. Suppose what we do is, we unfortunately don't have that time in our IPL season, because just 2 months and people all over the world land in. So we actually, to tell you the truth, we actually don't do mobility and stability work also. Sorry, we don't do assessment work because there is no time. So we basically, when we are doing our fitness testing, when we are doing our jump testing, we get a fair idea about their skills, movement skills and competency, movement competency. Then we give them the programs, but I told you I am responsible for their preparation and I am responsible for their recovery. So in an ideal environment, what you can do is, if there is a camp for 2 months, camp, not a tournament, you can pre-test this, you can test in the middle of the season and you can test post. So you'll definitely amalgamate everything and you see where the athlete is. So it's an ideal place to be in. Yeah. That is called predisposition.
Yes. So nowadays, see when people spot they do spot by because certain people are just not mobile enough. So do you support that as well?
100%. 100%. Because if you need to build strength, you need strength. You have to sustain the vigors of the IPL. You need strength. So what we do is we periodize in such a way that we are addressing all parameters. But one parameter which is non-compromised is preparation. And preparation is inclusive of all these things that I said. So what we do is, if there are strength sessions, there are conditioning sessions, and there are typical mobility sessions that I do. So this mobility session is a no compromise session. It is not compromise at all. So what people do is, not everybody will listen to you, because many people are big players, they have their own trainers, they come from all over the world. Does not matter to me. I will run your program. I will run his program. Somebody is from Bangalore, somebody is from Sydney, somebody is from UK. I will run your program because you already done that, and in the season I don't want to teach you anything new, because you've been doing that program. What I could suggest and what I could demand from you is, you can't compromise what I'm going to tell you. That is preparation. That preparation can be for a session of a strength session, or be for a practice session, or be for a match session. So according to what you're preparing for, we can give the time. See, in a match, you won't be able to, you can do all this. They will do what they want. So, but I have already fixed them up as much as possible in my mobility sessions. That is preparation sessions. Okay? So everybody must be doing all these things, but now you know why you are doing that. Okay? Anybody else? Yeah. See, what I do is, I catch hold of people. The physiotherapist has given me a hint. that person is very important for the team, or that those people are very important for my team. So what I do is, I have a way of catching people and making them understand, but this is what you need. Otherwise, you will be predisposed to injury. And there are many trainers, big trainers here, you can ask them how much importance actually the players give to this particular thing. Nobody gives importance. But it's in your hands, because I am going to save you. I told you I will still compromise on a strength session. I will still compromise on a power session, especially during a tournament. I would rather do this kind of a work. Rather prepare you and recover you well, so that you are ready for the vigors. I demand two only mobility sessions for the week. It depends. It depends. If I can get all these things, maybe, actually speaking, 15 minutes, a guy like me or a guy who's experienced, I need just 15 minutes for it. So what I will do once, I will run an entire stretch of program. I can give hundreds of exercises. So I'll give you a maximum exercise of 10 exercises, so that you become familiar with that. You can see the difference in your movement, not just this movement, in cricketing movements also. I'm talking about shoulder flexibility, I'm talking about hip mobility, They can see the difference and they will start coming to you. Because they know, because you need to make them feel that this is going to make a difference in your performance. Not how many wickets you take or how many runs you score. Physically, it's going to make a big difference.
Can we still include certain elements of these in the warm-up and cool-downs also?
Yes. Why not? So somebody who has not done mobility at all, now in 15 days, I've just given him, I've told him, you need to do your mobility. He's so ardently doing, he finishes in 15 to 16 minutes and then he comes into the strength session. Even on the ground, when the whole team is warming up, I give them their time. I give them me time. I tell them the warm-up is going to start in the next 15 minutes. This is your time. So everybody who knows the importance of it and who has felt the difference in their performance, automatically do their foam rolling, they do their stretching, the band stretching, and the mobility stuff, and then they're ready to come and actually do the dynamic preparation on the field. Yes? See, that we need a thing, what do you say, we need a box. Is just that what we use is, we get onto the edge of the box, okay? We get onto the edge of the box, I don't think this box will take my weight, and put one leg on the ground and the other leg is held for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. So the leg which is on top and the leg which is on the bottom, he was testing that glute stability. So if you can hold the pelvis, as Radha was saying, pelvis tilt, Trendelenburg sign, you can hold that pelvis in a straight line and can hold that position for about 1 minute, then you are pretty good in that. Your glute is able to recruit and you are able to stabilize the hip. Okay? So that way there are a lot of tests. Okay? Apurva, what can I do with that? That they want some stuff from my side. Yeah. I don't have benches, and so what I will do, maybe you guys can make a group, and I can keep constantly giving you some stuff. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can do that. Yes. Who may get fatigue? I may get fatigue? The athletes get. Okay. In what sense? No, come again, slowly.
So assessment level from quantitative and quantitative.
Correct.
So quantitative where we have the exact numbers, we can derive the assessment outcome. Qualitative is basically we see the differences. Sometimes we get distracted. As a coach, I will get distracted. So the outcome will vary depending upon my motivation or concentration.
See, that's called the inter-rata variability. Correct? So, best thing that you need to follow in this kind of environment is you follow the same routine. See, suppose I told Paji that you can do a pre-test, in-between test, and a mid-test and a post-test. You need to follow the same pathway that you followed for all the 3 tests, then the results will be consistent. You get what I'm trying to say? If there is a test pattern, you do it from the least fatiguing to the most fatiguing, correct? If you have a test battery of tests, it is always done from the least fatiguing to the most fatiguing. Okay? Suppose I have done that in ABCD manner. The mid testing I am doing in a different sequential manner, and something else I am doing the post testing in a different sequential manner. You think you will get you will get consistent results? That's what I am saying. So you have your own answer. You can't be fatigued. You can't be fatigued in a tough environment, because the athletes are being paid crores. No, if the movement, how would you put a metric? How would you put a metric for qualitative movement? Then how will you know? Suppose you have 8 out of 10 in particular movement. Okay? Why did you give that 8? So you visualize, isn't it? You take what many people do is nowadays, just to make it easier for the athletes, and athlete must be interested in doing that, is they place a nice camera in here and they just do those movements, and within 10 minutes they're out. So you have to have that qualitative assessment than the quantitative assessment. Quantitative assessment, you can definitely have, how many push-ups you can do, how many, your strength testing, everything can be quantitative. But movement, you cannot assess without assessing the quality of the movement. And that quality of the movement, when you are giving 8 out of 10, then we will bring in quantitative. What? The hip flexor is supposed to be this flexible, it is this flexible, so that's why this movement is not so qualitative. You get what I'm trying to say? See, from my side, I am being safe. From my side, I am keeping him safe. Whether he's feeling it or whether, many people don't even know what they're doing. They just do it because it's a group, and many people observe and they definitely feel it. Once you start moving efficiently, when your mechanics are good, every single ball that you bowl, it is affected in that, whether you like it or not. Why do most of the people get injured? 90% of the reason is because, I'm not saying it's all mobility and stability and preparation assessment. I am just saying that 90% get injured because of lack of something, either mobility, stability. Why the lack of mobility and stability I'm saying, why I'm giving importance there, it's going to affect your action. Ultimately, it's going to affect your biomechanics. Exactly. I know where they're coming from. Let me answer this. So what I will do, I didn't get your name. I didn't, your name? Lalit, what I do is I prepare this athlete very well and I make him recover according to his action, according to his shortcomings. It may not be only mobility. It may be there's a huge defect in his action of, he's hyperextending the back, whatever the reason may be. That is left to the bowling coach. So if the athlete is complaining to me that he has XYZ problems every time he bowls, then we will sit with the physio, get to know where the problem is coming from, and then we'll do what is needed. Last one, please. Yeah, what we use is for the key performance indicators, okay, like your high speed running and your your total distance covered. Everything we use a GPS. We use a GPS. All the information is got from that. So we have got information about 8 people, and we see the total overall load, and we will tweak the program according to that. Suppose he has to play a match. I won't stress him today because he's hitting the red zone already. He's hit the red zone already. So that is one thing. And of course, preparation, recovery, all this is taken care of. Thank you, guys.